Welcome, guys, to Cold WANS episode 6. Oh, I can't lie to you guys, I've woke up and I'm feeling pretty shit. But I'm going to try my best to bring the same energy I do to every Cold WANS episode. And yeah, our guest today is Michael King. On you come, my man.
Alright, guys, I'm Michael, 22. Looking forward to it.
As always, man. So, I'll just repeat myself that I do every single Cold WANS, just in case you're new here. This starts off with a 5-minute cold plunge, where we'll just talk about a couple topics about everyday life. And then after that, we go into the shed for a post-plunge warm-up, where we get to know a bit about Michael. Except from that, are you ready to go?
I guess, Ready as I'll ever be.
Right, well, let's go then. Let's get on with it. Whenever you're ready, mate.
Here we go, I guess.
Right.
Whoa. That's cold.
It is cold,
Cold
man.
one.
Oh. Just breathe. Oh. Then we'll start off with our topics. So my first topic to you, Michael, is: do you think that revenge is a validated way to deal with problems?
Well, it's always the first thing that comes to mind, isn't it? A lot of people think you need your revenge. It gives them satisfaction. Satisfaction. Oh. But that's usually just they don't think. I think if you think a situation over, it's a lot harder to forgive, and you feel satisfied when you forgive because you're like, I'm the better person here. I've forgiven. I've not lowered that person.
Yeah.
Because when you lower a person, you're lowering yourself as well.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. I think if people take just even a minute, step back, think about the situation, revenge is never right.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. I think there's so many ways around revenge, and being mature is always more important, in my opinion. Like you've said, it lowers you down to something less than you are when you bring someone else down for what they done to you, and it doesn't make you better than them. If anything, it makes you worse than them.
Exactly.
Because you've had to bounce back from what they've done for what reason.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's just, I think it's just about maturity, to be honest. I get that everyone wants tit for tat because it's just, it feels right to give someone back what they've done to you, but
especially with a lot of YouTube music, it's a lot of it's about beef.
Yeah.
And I think that glamorizes revenge and glamorizes lowering another person down.
Yeah.
It's just never the right option.
I couldn't agree more, man. It's a crazy thing, but it is it's so normalized now that you see it all the time, and social media is really bad for that. Actually, I didn't even think about that now that you've said that. But it definitely doesn't help at all, man. But I mean, yeah, I don't have much more to say about that, to be honest. I think that sounds about right.
Right.
The second topic I've got for you is: why do you think folk find it so difficult to accept and have self-love for themselves nowadays? Do you think there's main reasons for it, or do you think it's just a normalised thing?
I'm not really sure. Well, a lot of people, it's to do with upbringing. Some people might have, parents always, they feel like they're never good enough for their parents because they've not been praised enough as a child. And they'll just, because your upbringing matters hundreds.
Aye.
It literally molds you as a person. So if you've not been given that sense of, oh, I've actually done a good job here, people are proud of me. You start everything you do, you're like, oh, that's my fault. I'm so shit. I'm rubbish, and you just start beating yourself up. But there's no, and like a lot of people as well don't. They'll see like the gym for example. You'll see a lot of influencers with these amazing bodies, and they think, oh, I can never get to that. They go to the gym a week, 2 weeks, they don't see results. Well, they probably do see results. They're just not as big results as they think.
Yeah.
And they just start like, oh, it's not even worth it. I can't do that, and just give up. Like people just give up, find themselves comfortable, like where they are. Don't want to try and push outside that.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, to be fair. Like self love and acceptance is so discommon now, because body dysmorphia being a big problem in a lot of people's life. I spoke about this before, but it's one of those things that like you said, if you go to the gym a couple of weeks, you're not going to see biggest results. You don't see the biggest results, and then you wonder why you've been doing all these things, pushing yourself to then see nothing. When realistically, it takes a lot of time to get to a point where you're going to start to see proper results.
Exactly.
It takes time.
They will have got results. They just don't look at it. They don't take a step back and like realize that, oh, I've gone up maybe 2 kg on, I don't know, chest press. That is a result. So a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, as long as you're moving in the right direction, you're always making progress, and you're making you're making a difference in your life, I suppose. But nah, to be honest, it's such a shame as well, because it's something that everyone should be able to do. Everyone should be able to love themselves for what they are, no matter what you look like, shape, size, ethnicity. It doesn't matter. You should always love who you are, because you were put in the world for a reason, and you're the way you are for a reason.
Exactly.
So just be you.
Yeah. I'm still trying to do that. Accept myself. Like, there was a lot of things I hated about myself when I was younger. But when you grow, you're like, I'm who I am. I'm not just going to change that, accept me. And you accept who I am now, so I can move forward and become who I want to be.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. But I think it's definitely time to get out of these ice baths.
Aye.
And see you over in the post plunge warm up.
See you then.
Welcome, guys, to the post plunge warm up. Oh man, it's starting to warm up now that we've came inside, man. It's brutal. But how did you find that?
That was alright. It's a shock. It's a shock and a half at first, but once you just start breathing, it's like your body regulates it. You're just chilled.
In the post plunge warm up, we usually learn a bit about the person that's came onto our show. So, yeah, if you want to run us back, give us any significant parts in your life, give us an introduction to you, and just shoot.
Well, my name's Michael. I'm 22. I'm into a lot of stuff. Like, I've always been into fitness since I was young. Like, my dad used to go to the gym and take me and my brother, and we'd go to these. It was quite good actually. They had these kids classes. We were about 9 and 7, and you just kind of do your thing. Whilst my dad was doing his thing in the gym, and I've just always been into fitness. He's always kept me in it. Like, used to box, used to play football, and just, then I still go to the gym. No, I'm into reading as well. I've actually just got into that recently. Cause I never used to be a reader. I couldn't find a book that kept me in it. But I've got this book series I'm reading now. I'm on book. I'm midway through book 14 now, so it's locked me in. I'm actually the author's having a signing soon, and I'm going to that. So it's properly just entrapped me as well. I think reading's nice, especially at night, because a lot of people spend time at night on their phone, maybe scrolling through TikTok. Next thing you know, they've spent 45 minutes doing that.
Yeah.
And when they try to sleep, they don't feel rested. They don't feel ready to sleep because there's so much going on in their mind. I've made a couple of mistakes, and everybody does. When I was young, I say younger, I was like, I think I just turned 18.
Right.
me and my friend. This is probably my biggest regret. We were out like a drive, um, midnight maybe. It was quite late. We ended up getting pulled over by the police. Long story short, they searched us. Blah blah blah. We thought, well, this was back. I used to listen to fucking rap, like drill and stuff. Thinking you're like a hard man because you're like 18. You're like, oh, I can do whatever. They found knuckle dusters on 3 of us. We ended up, I ended up in handcuffs in the back of the van. Most of the searched the car for anything else. There wasn't anything else, but then we ended up having to go to court. Got community service. I think it was 60 hours, but this was just before COVID hit, and then when COVID hit, they reduced it to, I think it was 30 hours. And through there, that's kind of like sparked that was like a real scared straight moment. It's really not worth it. Like I still know a lot of people who are like 18, 19, whatever, who think that's still how they should be. Like they think it's all about, oh, how hard you are. It's not worth it. It's really not. So for then on, I've just kind of, that set me on a path of like bettering myself, making every moment last, and just being happy, just bringing joy to people in that as well. But I know that's kind of what's driving me to go to the gym. I've started reading since then. I'm actually starting. I want to pick up. I used to play saxophone back in like high school and primary school and high school. I'm looking at getting back into that as well. Just it's actually worked out alright. Obviously, it was a stupid mistake, but I'm glad that it happened. Because if it didn't, I don't want to think. I don't like to think where I would be now if it didn't happen.
It's a turning point for you, which is, it's always good to have those turning points, even if they're not positive.
Exactly.
It does change you and make you into who you are. Helps you develop.
Aye, definitely. Because you realise that everybody's made, like, you make mistakes, and once you make the mistake, you realise how stupid their mistake is, and you can better yourself for it. And that's my biggest mistake, is I made that, done that.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid to be fair. But I mean, like you said, we all make mistakes. And to be fair, it could definitely be worse than that. So like,
it could, 100%. But I think it was what was needed.
Yeah.
Because it was just stupid. I think I thought, you're like a wee guy. You're like, oh, I'm harder than anything, do whatever. But no, it's not worth it.
It knocks you down a couple levels when you get the police properly involved with you. Like,
I know.
But nah, that's good. I didn't know about that about you, to be fair, and that's a good thing to learn. I never knew that you were. I always thought you were quite a down to earth, chill guy when it came to stuff like that. I mean, like I say, it could definitely be worse, but it's still carrying a weapon around with you is kind of deep. Like,
it's stupid. It's really. Honestly, thinking back, the only reason is because you're like, oh, I've got this. I'm unstoppable.
Yeah.
I'm hard as anything. But if you really need a weapon, you're just a weapon yourself. You know what
exactly.
I mean? Like, it's stupid.
Oh well. I mean, if you've learned from it and you've became better because of it, then there's not really a downside to it.
Right. So it's my biggest regret, but on one hand, I'm happy I am.
Yeah.
Because I'm a better person now because of it.
Yeah. As with your books, what books are you reading? I want to know,
Well,
because I'm quite into reading books as well. So
it's nothing like philosophical. It's technically actually like young teen books. It's Skullduggery Pleasant. It's called. It's a weird name, but it's by an author called Derek Landy. He's an Irish author, and basically it's about this. It's set in like today's world.
Yeah.
First book came out about, I think it was like 2007. So it's set in 2007, and it's progressed to like today.
Yeah.
But it's just the normal world. It's actually set in Ireland in the UK. And it's about these. So everybody's just living day to day, and there's these sorcerers that nobody knows about. I could talk about this for days actually. So there's these sorcerers that nobody knows about, and like they just kind of live in the shadows like normal people. And then they've got two different kinds of sorcery, like main branches, if you will. So you've got elemental magic, which is people. It's quite self-explanatory. They can manipulate the air, they can make fire, and manipulate water and the earth. And then you've got adepts. They focus on like a specific style of magic. So you get people who can like throw energy for their hands. You get people who can like teleport. It doesn't sound the coolest, but that's probably the best one, to be honest, because they can like teleport like a full room of people. So there's a scene. Sorry, a spoiler, I guess. There's a scene in I can't remember. I think it was book 7, where they're at a war basically with these. It's like a sorcerer's war, and the teleporters are just broke because they just teleport like 100 people into the middle, like in behind these their enemies in the battlefield, and just slaughter them because nobody knew they were there because it happened by that. And you've also got necromancers. That's death magic. They need to channel their magic though through an object. So some people have it in a cane, like in a ring, whatever, and it unleashes for the ring. So it's about this lassie. She's called Stephanie Edgley, and how it starts. Her uncle's just died. Grim start, but her uncle literally just died at the start of the book, and her uncle was an author, like an award-winning author, and he wrote about these sorcerers. Just because he used to, you find that he actually tagged along with Skullduggery Pleasant, who is a sorcerer, and he'd write about these adventures and became a best-selling author and she loved him. Like he was her favorite. She was his favorite niece, and she used to always read his books and stuff. And then she finds out sorcery is real because she meets this Skullduggery Pleasant at her uncle's will reading. Like her whole family's there, and there's this guy because he's a skeleton. I don't know. I didn't actually say that. He's a skeleton. Nobody else is skeletons, but I can't actually remember why, but he's a skeleton. And her whole family's at the will reading, and there's just this strange guy, like a top hat, a suit. He always dresses nice, and like a mask and whatever, and nobody knows who he is. And then Stephanie talks to him at the will, blah blah blah, and she then finds out about sorcery, and he takes her under his wing. It's a really interesting book. I don't do it justice. I'm horrible at explaining it, but it's so good.
Oh, I might have to give that a wee read then. It sounds quite interesting, to be fair. I'm all up for that like whole wizardry fucking.
It's so good. And Derek Landy's an amazing author. Like the way he writes, because that's another thing I used to struggle. Like when I used to try and read before, I could never follow the page. But he's so good at writing. It just entraps you, and like you can just fire through like 50 pages, and like none.
We'll definitely have to give that a go then. How interesting.
It's very good.
It does. And there's what, like you said, like 14 books or something, or is that what one you're on? Is there more than that?
There's more than 14. I'm on 14. So there's 15 main storyline books.
Oh, okay.
And there's like 4 like kind of side story books, and he's actually just releasing 3 more. That's the signing I'm going to. It's the first one is being released this year. The second one's being released next. Well,
yeah.
So I'm going to get that.
Fair. Well, that was interesting. I didn't think that the book would be about that, but that's good.
It's so good. Genuinely, it's not like a philosophical book or anything like that, but it's brilliant.
I'll give it a read and I'll tell you how I'm feeling about that. Absolutely. The last question I've got for you is more to do with your fitness. So you said you'd done boxing. I assume that was just a small tit for tat when you were younger, sort of thing.
Well, I don't know how old I must have been about 8. My dad got me into that for a solid maybe year and a half, and then I came back to it. I would have been 14. I think I'd done that till I was 16, and I got my braces and I stopped.
Fair. As for your normal fitness, just your whole gym thing, how's your regiment at the gym looking? How are you feeling about the gym run up you're having now?
It's pretty good. I used to struggle to find a good split, but I found a solid one that works for me. So I do arms on a Monday, I do chest and back on a Tuesday, Wednesday's a rest day, I do arms again on a Thursday, and then I do legs on a Friday, and then rest Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, so you do a 5-day regiment?
I do a 5-day regimen.
That's interesting. Maybe I should fucking give myself a couple of days off.
Aye. Well, I don't
Rest
know.
days are the most important days, to be fair.
Definitely.
Just need to kind of, yeah. That's so fair.
100% is. I feel like I've got 2 arm days because that's the thing I want to work on the most. But
Oh, would you ever change your regiment from what you've got it just now, or would you always keep it as your 2 arm days? And
I'd change one when my arms get where I want them to be. I'd change one of them to like maybe like 2 chest and back days till that gets to where I want it to be. Maybe 2 leg days and whatever, just to kind of not like speed up, but put more focus on that body part.
have you ever thought? I didn't even think about this, but have you ever thought about doing like? See when you do your training, right? So you do very specific days to what you do. That's what I do. I think that's a way better way to train for me. I enjoy doing it that way more rather than like a push pull day, like a lot of people do.
Aye.
Which is scientifically proven to work, which is fair. But for me, I just prefer doing
Aye.
specific days. So when you do your specific days, do you do like isolation training on those muscle groups, or do you just do generalized lifting to then focus on those muscle groups?
Well, for some of them I do. Like for example, back I always use straps. Because don't want your forearm involved in the back day. And just make sure that I'm only pulling with my elbows. And I used to do like isolated lat pull downs, but I started feeling that in my rear delt,
Hmm.
so I just do normal lat pull downs now. But there's a really good tricep exercise actually. Tricep, rear delt. I don't know why I thought tricep. It's that I just found out about. It's just a rear delt fly on the machine, but I isolate that so like you're kind of like the back of the seats here, so you get like a further stretch in your rear delt, and then you pull it in. It's actually quite good. I recommend it.
I was gonna say I've probably my rear delt's probably my weakest area. I usually do cable crossovers, like where you do like that and you
Oh,
push back, or I'll do what's the other one? Face pulls, so like the one where you
the
grab the
one.
rope and you pull. But I always feel like it's so hard to get them perfect,
Hmm.
like because of the type of movement it is, and like I obviously study like fitness and like at body anatomy and stuff when I'm doing like my PTing course, but for some reason I just cannot. I can never hit the rear delt properly. You know what I mean? It's a pain in the ass.
Well, try that. Try the one like so that stretch it. Try it at like a lightweight first, because it's actually like really hard to do heavy.
Yeah.
Well, I find that anyway. But I think when you say like doing it perfect, a lot of people like I like to think like I'm a science based lifter. I read about it a lot, but a lot of people take that too far.
Yeah.
They think, oh, if my form isn't perfect, I've ruined it. Yeah, but like if your form is always perfect, you're never actually pushing yourself enough. Because if you want to push yourself to failure or close to failure, your form's going to break a bit.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be exhausted. So, a lot of people put too much emphasis on form.
Yeah.
I see that a lot actually. Just push yourself as long as you're working hard and your form is good. You're fine.
See, that's actually quite funny because I was planning to start. I've obviously got a fitness page, so I was planning to start moving my fitness page over to like kind of me doing exercise at the gym and talking about it and stuff. But like, I was gonna try and go for like a shift of like pace because a lot of times nowadays you'll go into YouTube and you watch videos and folk will show you how to do the exercise, but then they'll go into this really in-depth anatomy thing, and everyone's just kind of sitting there. And if you don't really care that much about the gym, you just want to know how to do things. You're just kind of watching, like, what?
Aye.
Like all the body parts. Like I get it, it's important to know what they're called, but see when you're just a regular everyday lifter and you don't care about all the fucking stupid big names that all your muscle
Aye.
groups have, it's just nice to have someone that's talking like a human being to you. You know what I mean? Rather
Aye.
than like a science experiment. It's like,
Aye. That's what see when I started the gym. Actually, a lot of like that's I find that a lot. A lot of people are like fucking in depth, and it kind of puts you off a wee bit because like, oh fuck, am I meant to know
yeah.
all these different names? But aye,
The
definitely.
muscle groups just it gets crazy when you start hearing all
Aye.
the fucking the mad names, man. So hopefully, I'm gonna go for a different approach to this, but I'm getting ready to get some backlash for it because the thing is, you always get those people that are like that small niche that are like you're not talking about it correctly,
Aye.
but then you always again get those people that then are like sitting there like not watching it because like why would I watch something that you're just banging on bang 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 fact. Folk don't want facts all the time. Sometimes folk want fun and they want
Aye.
real people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's
And
always about being real, to be honest. You know what I
aye,
mean?
the people that always that are like, oh, you're not doing it correctly. There's like, what does it matter to them? Do you know what I mean? If they know how to do it correctly, who cares? You're
So,
you're you're teaching people who don't know anything and just getting them into it.
exactly. And that's the important thing. The thing is, at the end of the day, you need to be fun and friendly for folk to enjoy watching you. You can't just be fucking facts, 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 and
Aye,
boring, you know what I mean?
definitely.
But anyway, oh, there's always one part to to the post plunge warm up that happens every single time. And Michael, my question for you is if you had one thing that you could tell everyone out there and they could hear it and maybe learn from it, what would it be? What would your message be?
Um, just to love yourself. Like, don't compare yourself to anyone else except your past self, like how you were yesterday. And always, that's the only person you should be comparing with. Always trying to be better than you were yesterday. Even if it's just small things, like the way you thought about maybe, I don't know, a bad situation. If you became better because of that, you're better than you were yesterday. Always think about what you're doing, you know, think about your next step so you don't make silly mistakes. And think about the people that you associate yourself with. If they, you know, if they are maybe not thinking how you're thinking or not wanting to go in a place you want to go, maybe you just need, call for them. Because if you don't, they'll drag you down.
Yeah. And you don't want to have to be associated for someone else's mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a good message. Um, thank you very much for coming on, Michael. It was an
Thanks for
absolute
having me.
fucking pleasure, man.
It was great.
Good
Good fun.
chat. And yeah, you've now experienced a cold plunge.
It's freezing. Still
Still.
shivering. Still shivering.
Oh, and you probably will be for a good bit of time today
I know.
because it takes on your first one. It does take a while for you to kind of regulate your heat again. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm still shivering too, but
They probably know it's me. That's why I'm sitting like this because it minimalised my shivering. So I sit like that and I'm just free.
oh man. But anyway, guys. Oh man, I'll see you again tomorrow.
See you later.